Hey there guys, so today we've gotten ourselves another pack sale, and since I'm sure a lot of you are probably wondering the best uses for your allowance money and or credit card debt, I thought I would put together a little reference guide here to hopefully make that decision a bit easier. I'll be splitting this guide into two parts with air first and then ground. Timestamps will be in the description. And just to make it easier, I'm going to go in the order they appear on the website, and that's all. I'm sorry to both of the naval players who watch this channel, but I don't know what this thing is or if it's good. I apologize. We're just not going to talk about it. The way I'll be ranking these packs will be in terms of what I think the value of the purchase is, which is a combination of how good a grinder it is, combined with how fun it is to actually play. If there are any specific caveats, I'll mention them when I get to that vehicle. The first on our list will be the F4S. This is a BR 12.0 fighter in the American tech tree, and this pack includes 20 days of premium and 2,500 Golden Eagles. Now, this aircraft is in a much better place than it used to be. BR decompression means it doesn't suffer from up tiers nearly as badly as it used to, plus now that the effects of multipathing have been reduced, its radar missiles are far more potent. It's still a Phantom, so it kind of flies like a brick, but overall, still solid B tier. Next is the A5C. This is a 10.7 attack aircraft in the Chinese tech tree. This pack includes 15 days of premium and 2,000 Golden Eagles. For viewers familiar with my content, I'm sure you're probably expecting me to be drooling all over this aircraft since it's basically a Big 19 with magics, and I definitely would be if it weren't for one critical flaw, and that's these god-awful NR-23 cannons it gets, which I would say are probably some of the worst aircraft cannons for their BR in the entire game. Also, this thing really doesn't get any particularly potent anti-tank weaponry, so I'd recommend just using it as a fighter in ARB and not as an attacker, since even with the bad cannons, you can still pretty easily terrorize the A-10 and Su-25 premium spam this thing goes up against. If it weren't for those guns, it would definitely be an A tier, but I find them to be a huge pain in my ass, so B tier. Next is the Su-39. This is an 11.7 attacker in the Soviet tech tree, and this pack includes 20 days of premium and 2,500 Golden Eagles. There's not a lot to say about this one. Basically, if you can think of a certain type of ordnance, this thing can carry it, and because of that, you can basically do anything you want to with it. You can ground pound, you can do CAS, you can bring out AAMs and airburst S-25s to troll enemy fighters with. I made a video about how to do that, cough cough. Just due to how solid a multi-role vehicle this is, A tier. Next is the J-35XS. This is an 11.0 fighter in the Swedish tech tree, and this pack includes 20 days of premium and 2,500 Golden Eagles. Unfortunately, this aircraft has seen better days. The airframe has been nerfed. It only gets 12 countermeasures, has no RWR, and only gets access to AIM-9Js and a single 30mm cannon, which is like weirdly offset in the wing. It's not like there are any alternatives, but still gotta put it in C tier. Next is the Ka-50. This is a BR 11.3 attack helicopter in the Soviet tech tree, and this pack includes 15 days of premium and 2,000 Golden Eagles. I really don't want to recommend this because I hate playing against it, but to cut right to the chase, this thing is just OP as hell. It gets Vickers missiles at 11.3, which, by the way, double as AAM since they're fast and maneuverable enough to hit helicopters and even slow jets. This thing is just OP, no question. Next is the AH-64A. This is a BR 11.7 helicopter in the American tech tree, and this pack includes 15 days of premium and 2,000 Golden Eagles. So I might just be playing them wrong, but in my experience, Hellfires just suck for top tier CAS unless you get lucky and spawn while no enemy SPAAs are up. Also, American fixed wing CAS is way stronger than its helis in terms of CAS abilities, so I'm not sure why you would even grind them out, to be honest. D tier. Next is the F4EJ. This is a BR 11.0 fighter in the Japanese tech tree, and this pack comes with 20 days of premium and 2,500 Golden Eagles. The first thing I should say about this aircraft is that it gets some very slick skins, and on paper, that's about where the advantages of this aircraft end. In practice, though, I find that E-Series Phantoms do actually make very good grinders. I intend to make a full how-to guide in the future, but basically what I do is just take enough bombs to kill one base, which lets me outrun all my teammates who are base bombing, as well as 2 Sparrows and a full set of Sidewinders. Then, after I'm done with one base, I go and kill enemy aircraft. I don't find this playstyle to be fun at all, but it does work, and for that reason I'll be charitable and stick this thing in C tier. But with that being said, if at all possible, I would probably just research the Thai F5 and stick a talisman on it instead of buying this. Next is the Wyvern. God, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is a BR 4.3 attacker in the British tech tree, and this pack comes with 15 days of premium and 1,000 golden eagles. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't normally recommend even buying any premium aircraft at this low of a BR because of how easy it is to just grind by spading all of the tech tree vehicles. But that aside, this is basically like a low-tier equivalent of the Su-39 from earlier. You can kill aircraft, you can ground pound, you can use it for CAS. It even gets a huge-ass 2,000-pound AP bomb you can use for naval. If you're, like, into that, I won't judge. It gives you a lot of value for your money, and with that in mind, A tier. Next is the F4J UK. This is a BR 11.7 fighter in the British tech tree, and this pack comes with 20 days of premium and 2,500 golden eagles. Now, if you were thinking about buying this thing, then I'm glad you made it this far into the video, because you just dodged a bullet by waiting. If you're not autistically familiar with BVR and top-tier combat in War Thunder, it may not be immediately obvious that anything is wrong with this thing, and you might have thought it looks pretty similar to the F4S from earlier. So, what's the difference? Well, instead of AIM-7Fs, this thing gets Sky Flashes, and Sky Flashes are hot dog water. And yeah, you could use it as a base bomber like I suggested with the EJ, but base bombing with a Phantom at 11.7 is a little bit trickier than base bombing with a Phantom at 11.0, so D tier. Now we get into the vehicles that are getting removed at the end of this sale. The F-104S TAF is an 11.3 fighter in the Italian tech tree, and this pack comes with 20 days of premium and 2,500 golden eagles. Some of my more dedicated audience members know that I have a bit of a history with F-104s. For my 100 and 500 subscriber specials, I did stock grinds of the F-104 J and G, and oh boy, was that an eye-opening experience. Gaijin has repeatedly nerfed this airframe to the point where what you essentially have is an aircraft with, at best, marginally better speed than your competitors, in addition to maneuverability and energy retention comparable to that of a school bus. Throw in below average armament, and all I can say is, Gaijin, why? Next is the Tu-1. This is a BR 5.3 attack aircraft in the Soviet tech tree. This pack comes with a week of premium and 1,000 golden eagles. First, I'll address the elephant in the room. This aircraft was recently buffed by virtue of getting these new APHE rounds for its 45mm guns, which make them a whole hell of a lot more dangerous. Combine that with 3,000 kilogram bombs, and this thing is a monstrously powerful CAS aircraft for a ground RB. For air RB though, it's not going to be that much better than the tech tree Tu-2, so for that reason, B tier. Next is the A6E Tram. This is a BR 10.7 attacker in the American tech tree, and this pack also comes with 20 days of premium and 2,500 golden eagles. So this is another bomb truck that gets a wide variety of ordnance, including the interesting AGM-123 Skipper, which is basically a 1,000-pound bomb with a rocket motor strapped to the back. The problem is, you can't just load up everything plus the kitchen sink like you can on an A-10 or Su-25. You only have 5 pylons, and one can only carry bombs, which means you kind of have to do just a bit of juggling with whatever loadout you decide to take, especially in ARB. It's not bad by any means, though, and it definitely gives good value due to the wide variety of ordnance available, but it's not by any means a must-have, so I'd put it in B tier. Lastly, we have a pack which has been in the game for a crazy amount of time, the FW190D13. This is a 5.0 German fighter, which comes with 15 days of premium and 1,000 golden eagles. So, gotta deliver a big fat caveat up front. This is a very good aircraft in ARB, but it is not beginner-friendly, and requires a lot of patience and discipline to do well in. If you're familiar with what to expect with this thing and still want in, then I say go for it, but otherwise, you're probably not going to have a good time with it if you're new, so B tier. Now moving on to ground, we'll start off with the M1 Clickbait. This is an 11.7 MBT in the American tech tree, and this pack includes 20 days of premium and 2,500 GE. This is arguably the best of the 11.7 premiums, to be honest. It gets the excellent M829A2 shell, which is the same top shell the SEP and SEP V2 Abrams get. It still has the bad hull armor the Abrams currently has to deal with, but otherwise this thing is competitive in just about every other area. I mean, you're still going to get eaten alive by Leopard 2A7s, but even so, A tier. Next is the Type 90B Fuji. This is a 11.3 MBT in the Japanese tech tree, and this pack includes 20 days of premium and 2,500 golden eagles. This is a little bit more of a niche vehicle than a lot of other MBTs, in that it has very weak protection, and the JM33 isn't particularly potent at this BR. However, it's extremely mobile and has a ridiculously fast 4-second autoloader, making it an excellent flanking vehicle. Because it's more of a niche vehicle, I don't think I can give it A tier, but it's still pretty solid, so high B tier. Next is the Type 96A prototype. This is a 10.3 MBT in the Chinese tech tree, and this pack comes with 15 days of premium and 2,000 golden eagles. This is an overall just solid MBT, pretty good firepower, average mobility for what is essentially a Chinese take on a T-72. It has a massive frontal weak spot on the lower glacis, but the parts that have composite armor are pretty well protected. Also, it has an electro-optical active protection system, which is nice, so overall, high B tier. Next is the Leo 2A4 Panzer Battalion 123. This is a BR 10.7 MBT in the German tech tree, and this pack includes 15 days of premium and 2,000 golden eagles. I might be a little biased due to being a German main, but I just love this thing. Pretty much everything about it is either average to great. The gun is punchy, it's mobile, the armor is decent, and even if you do get penetrated, there's a lot of dead space. And unlike the Abrams, it doesn't have a convenient frontal weak spot on the driver's port that will kill the entire crew if you shoot it, so A tier. Next is the Merkava 3 Steven Seagal. This is a 10.3 MBT in the Israeli tech tree, and this pack includes 20 days of premium and 2,500 golden eagles. I'll be brief on this. It just isn't competitive. The armor can't stop dart rounds for shit. It's not particularly mobile. Granted, it has a lot of dead space, so it's not necessarily super easy to kill in one shot. Plus, it has a laser warning receiver and decent firepower, I guess, but compared to the other options on this list, it just does not hold up. D tier. Next is the Christian 2. This is a 10.7 MBT in the Swedish tech tree, and this pack comes with 20 days of premium and 2,500 golden eagles. This is basically a copy-paste Leopard 2A4, except it trades the heat rounds for an HE shell. I don't use either, so I don't care. A tier. Next is the T-29. This is a BR 7.0 heavy tank in the American tech tree, and this pack comes with a week of premium and 1,000 golden eagles. I feel like I need to add a caveat that the Tiger IIs are some of my most played vehicles in the entire game, so I have a bit of a bias towards kind of just seeing these American T-Series heavy tanks as easy targets due to how familiar I am with the weak spots. But to be fair, you have a very punchy gun with a ton of HE filler. You have decent mobility and gun depression. Protection is okay, but you face a lot of HE, AT, and up tiers. Plus, it has the perplexing American ammo stowage practice of filling up the cheeks with the ready rack, meaning any hit here will instantly pop this thing. Again, I'm biased, so take that into consideration with my rating, but I'm still going to say C tier. Next is the M1 KVT. This is a 10.7 MBT in the American tech tree, and this pack comes with 15 days of premium and 2,000 golden eagles. I'll be short with this one. This is the American analog for the Leopard 2A4, but it gets a 105 instead of a 120. Granted, it has a bit better protection, but I find that firepower is nearly always more important than protection. On its own, I'd put it at B tier, but since the clickbait is only a little bit more expensive, yet is much more dominant at its BR, I'm going to put this in C tier. Next is the T-72 AV Terms. This is a BR 10.3 MBT in the Soviet tech tree, and this pack comes with 15 days of premium and 2,000 golden eagles. The Terms is a very strong, well-balanced Soviet tank. It, of course, comes with all the issues typical of Soviet tanks, and also its upper front plate won't hold up too well in an up tier, but it does come with the excellent 3BM42 round, plus great ERA coverage. This is an easy A tier, definitely Russian bias. Next is the Centauro RGO. This is an 11.7 light tank in the Italian tech tree, and this pack comes with 20 days of premium and 2,500 golden eagles. So this thing has good firepower, but its mobility advantage doesn't really matter so much at such a high BR when pretty much everything has great mobility. And, I mean, it can get machine gun from the side. Maybe it's just personal preference, but I really just don't have good experiences with these high-tier wheeled vehicles. I'm just going to put this at D tier. Next is the Leopard A1A1 L44. This is a BR 9.3 MBT in the German tech tree, and this pack comes with 15 days of premium and 2,000 golden eagles. This one is pretty straightforward. It's an upgunned Leopard 1, which means it has great firepower and mobility, but basically no protection. On its own, I'd say B tier, but I think the 2A4 is a much better option for just a little bit extra money, and for that reason, I'm putting this in C tier. Next is the T-55 AM1. This is a BR 8.7 MBT in the Soviet tech tree, and this pack includes 15 days of premium and 2,000 golden eagles. This is an 8.7 MBT with composite armor, a laser rangefinder, APFSDS, and a barrel-launched ATGM. I think that's probably just about all you need to know. I love T-55s, and this one is no exception. OP. Next is the XM1. This is a BR 9.3 MBT in the American Tech Tree, and this pack includes 15 days of premium and 2,000 Golden Eagles. I really can't believe they're finally getting rid of this one. It feels like it's been here forever, but I guess it must have finally stopped selling. This is a vehicle with great mobility. The firepower is okay, but not really what it used to be after M735 got nerfed. And the protection also really isn't fantastic. The composite armor on the cheeks is quite good against heat, though. Considering your tech tree alternative is the MPT-70, though, I think still deserving of B tier. Lastly, we have the Object 120, a BR 8.0 tank destroyer in the Soviet tech tree, which also includes 15 days of premium and 2,000 Golden Eagles. This is another one I'm sad to see go. I love goofy prototype vehicles like this, and I think 152mm APFSDS at 8.0 definitely falls into that category at a pretty high rank. This is a niche vehicle, but I mean, it's only 25 bucks, and if you're a Soviet main, do you really want to miss out on this thing before it gets removed? A tier. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. If you think I'm a dumb idiot with terrible opinions, please let me and everyone else know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.